This is gonna be my review of the second half of the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't have notes for this, so this is just gonna be off the cuff and probably a bit shorter than they usually would be. Um, so the majority of it was I guess you could call it a tournament arc, the exchange event between the two schools. And it's a fucking tournament arc. They're either the best thing or they're just there. Um, and it has some decent fights for the students versus students. But, like, Itadori versus Toto was alright, but it's a glorified training. That's a glorified training segment. Mekamaru versus Panda, I guess, was better. But Maki was really the star of the whole thing. Her fight with Miwa and Mai were really where you got your fast paced, in your face action, right? Itadori, and Toto were hitting each other. It's just like I said, it's training. Um, Mekamaru's abilities were really cool. Uh, and I guess Fushiguro's fight with the Kamo or whatever his name was, that was actually pretty good. So those would be my highlights. Would be Maki and Fushiguro, ironically because I fucking hated Fushiguro in the first half of the season. But then the exchange event goes from worst arc of the first season to best arc of the first season because Hanami shows up and you end up with the fucking one of the best fights ever put in anime. I'd like to do a whole fucking video just on Hanami versus Itadori and Toto and how well that was executed. It really is a perfect fucking fight. I can't praise it enough. Just the structure of it, just the way, like I said in my reviews, that the characters are having to think while they're fighting and they don't have the luxury of going into some subconscious space where they just analyze everything. Well, I say that and fucking Toto did that exactly. But Hanami didn't. That Toto's was not taken super serious. Nobody sat down in the middle of a fight to think. And Itadori actually had to turn his brain off. Hanami obviously has that moment where they're like, "Oh fuck, I can't think. I'm being attacked." And then there's that moment where Itadori and Toto are attacking at the same time, and Hanami can't block because they're both two completely different builds, and there's just so many factors going on. I thought that was executed so well. But even when Toto is analyzing Hanami's shit, he even says, there's a possibility that all of my assumptions are wrong. And he does have that moment where he was working on the presupposition that Hanami's ability was to manipulate roots and pieces of trees and plants that already exist when actually he just creates them himself. Stuff like that worked really well, where they think they're analyzing the abilities of the other person, but they really have no idea what's happening. And that also happens to Hanami, because Hanami thinks that they understand Toto's ability to teleport himself with somebody, and then he ends up teleporting Hanami and Itadori. So, I just can't praise that fight enough. The only thing that I thought was handled badly was the first Black Flash. Because Itadori's hit with that first Black Flash didn't look all that impactful. And that it might not have supposed to be. I don't know. But the episode kept building it up and building it up and building it up. And I saw a bunch of people on the internet also building it up. Like, oh, here comes Black Flash. So when all it is just a big punch. And, Hanami coughs up a little blood. And the water kind of shoots up. It's like, this is a big punch. It looks slightly more powerful than Divergent Fist. And any of the 4 Black Flashes that Itadori used later on Hanami actually looked more devastating, in my opinion. Also, leaves the question, why the fuck did Nanami not use it on Mahito? Because Nanami said that he had used 4 consecutive Black Flashes in a day, so why didn't Nanami use Black Flash on Mahito? Maybe, I guess Black Flash is just it's like one of the first of the advanced principles of Jujutsu, I guess. So, while for right now it's really powerful, I guess it's less powerful than Nanami's normal ability, but that can't be true either, because Black Flash was enough to hurt Hanami, and we know Hanami was more powerful than Mahito, at least when Nanami fought Mahito. So it's weird that Nanami didn't use Black Flash. Sad we didn't get to see Hanami's domain expansion, but I guess it would probably just be like, it sucks the life out of you, and or you're just surrounded by plants. Because you gotta remember, Hanami's left arm is able to suck the life out of vegetation and stuff, and then the flower blooms. And, Hanami gets chased off by fucking Gojo, because Gojo is just the whole point of him is he's an overpowered character and no one can deal with him. Little contrived that Gojo went after the one character who could provide them nothing. No matter how you look at whatever his thought process would have been, it's clear the mangaka just didn't want Gojo had to take someone out, but he wasn't going to let Gojo take out anyone important. Him trying to go after a curse again, especially Hanami, would have... It made sense for him not to. Because Hanami, like he said, is very good at running away. So even if he had tried putting Hanami in a domain and then tearing his head off just like he did Jogo, Hanami probably would have had some way to escape. However, Hanami is a significant threat, so it would have been a good idea just to kill Hanami outright. And he didn't need his, what was his ability called? Something purple. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. But that ability, that's like one of his most powerful techniques, but he doesn't need that to beat Hanami. He could beat Hanami with something much weaker, I'm sure. That attack ripped fucking Hanami's fucking arm off and tore a giant trench in the ground. But good on Ganshi. Oh yeah, never mind. The reason that he injured the guy was to trap Good on Ganshi. That's right, the old man. Yeah, so I guess that does make sense. Never mind. That's not a fair criticism of the series, of the season. Also, their plan was really well thought out by the mangaka. The plan to focus Gojo on getting inside of the barrier and what might they be doing inside of it, so he isn't focused on what's going on outside of it. That was really fucking smart. And to have that thought process as a writer is very impressive. Um, After all that, what we got the baseball episode, right? That was a fun episode. That was funny. Um, it has almost nothing to do with the series, so I already kind of gave my thoughts on that episode. There's nothing really to add there. And then overall, the final arc, the bridge arc, whatever the fuck it's called, that situation where they go after the finger and stuff. It was alright too. It was pretty good. I don't really understand how the bridge curse works. Because, like, those little moles that come out and scream, like, one of them showed up behind the dude before he died when he was complaining about his door being broken. Jesus. So, I don't know how that thing works. It is so weird. The doors don't work right, and then it shows up behind someone and kills them. The fact that we never got to see it actually execute that entirely makes it really hard to even imagine what the fuck actually it did. Unless the implication was supposed to be that the special grade just comes out and slashes them or something. And that was a shock too, seeing it. Again, it makes me wonder, is that just the form that a curse will take when it eats the finger of one finger of Sakuna? It will look like the prison curse. It was cool to see Fushiguro use domain expansion and beat it, especially with the excuse that since Demon Dog's Claw was able to tear through Haname, of course, would be able to get through the special grade very easily. And I'll say something about that in a second, but I gotta talk then about Itadori and Nobara beating their the death paintings. Those fights were pretty good, I thought. Itadori's with the green dude was really broken up. It was mostly just Nobara versus Death Painting 2, Eizo. Eizo was his name. Eizo really took on the whole focus of the situation, while Kechizu really stopped talking almost immediately and was relegated to a prop kind of. I don't know that if I think more could have been done with Kechizu. It was just weird that Itadori's with him and then he's just gone. I wonder if Chozo has a second face since Eizo and Kechizu have a second face. He probably does. And I assume he probably has a transformation to look uglier since the other two look pretty ugly. But their fight was alright. It wasn't... It's hard to follow Hanami versus Itadori and Toto. That almost should have been the fucking finale fight because you really couldn't follow that. But the fight between Itadori and Nobara, Eizo and Kechizu was fine. Seeing Nobara use Black Flash was cool. And it was meant to be an emotional thing to keep Itadori on this whole thing of, oh, I'm killing people, and blah, blah, blah. But, okay, my thing about these fights is it just feels like the characters are getting so strong so fast. I don't know how the fuck the series is going to keep itself going. I mean, I'm looking at 4 seasons and a finish, really, at the rate we're going. Because they're already killing special grades. All of them just got fucking upgraded to first grade. They've all killed special grades. Nobara, Fushiguro, and Itadori each killed a special grade. So, Fushiguro's learned domain expansion, the ultimate fucking technique of a Jujutsu sorcerer. And yeah, he's still got to fuck with it and make it better, but that's still the ultimate technique. And Nobara learned Black Flash along with Itadori, and they can seemingly do it whenever they want. And like I said, it's like the first of the advanced principles, but still, the fact that they're able to fight special grades, they're already within shooting range of their main antagonist group. So it's hard for me to visualize, unless the antagonist gets stronger, and then all of the protagonists need to also get stronger, and we're just going to end up with this fucking climb of strength and shit. I don't see how the series is going to continue going. And that's really the biggest critique I think I have of the thing, is that we get fingers too fast, and the characters are getting too strong too fast. But the structure of the fights is always really good. Except for Mahito vs. Nanami, where, like I said, in that, we cut away after for the majority of the fight. Oh, one thing I haven't brought up. Gege actually does really good at structuring a fight with multiple people. Because usually people will struggle to have, like, multiple opponents fighting one. Usually it'll just be they'll take turns fighting rather than fighting simultaneously. And he does a really good job with that. And I think that's very impressive. As I've said before, for my favorite characters right now, it's like Miwa, Maki, Hanami, Nanami, and Mahito probably is the list, or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the whole thing to figure that out. But I just love Miwa's personality, and then Maki's just fun because she has all the different weapons, so you're always going to see her fighting in a different way, which is entertaining. I don't know what to think about the future of the series. I don't have really any projections like I did in the first review for the first half. I just think that the fights are really good, and since I'm here for the fights, that's the majority of what I'm going to praise. I wonder what Chozo's fucking technique is going to be, since Ezo and Kechizu's was like the base technique. Wing King from Ezo was like an advanced application of it. Obviously, I wonder what Chozo's is going to be. But it'll be interesting to see the other characters fight, and hopefully we get to see everything everyone can do, and hopefully I get to see Gojo get challenged by somebody at some point, and we can see him go all out, because that's really what I want to see, is him have to try. That's my thoughts for the second half of the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. Really good, some of the best fighting I've ever seen in anime.